Hey guys, welcome back to our Phillip Trading Podcast. I'm your host today. My name is Jun Hang, and I'm a dealer here at Phillip Capital. Now, before we start, please take note that this presentation has not been reviewed by the SC Malaysia and is for general educational purpose only. It's not an invitation to buy or sell any investment product. Hence, the speaker and PCSB are not liable for any financial decision you may make based on the content of this presentation. With us today, we have an extremely experienced speaker, David Low. How are you today, David?
Fantastic, Jung.
All right. So now, before we start, let me just bring you through a quick introduction to our esteemed speaker for today, David Low. David Low is the managing director of Tom Infinity Sdn Berhad, a proprietary trading firm that specializes in trading global commodities, currency, equity indices, and financial derivative market. David has over 25 years of experience in the listed derivative industry and has held leadership position in futures broking division of major investment banks in Malaysia. David was the past president of the Malaysian Futures Broker Association from 2018 to 2019. So, what an interesting speaker we have with us today. Well, I won't hold too much of your time. Let's get straight to the content. On to you, David.
Thank you, Jun. First, let me share my screen.
Yep.
Right. Okay, I hope you are seeing this clearly.
Yes, all good.
Okay, fantastic. And welcome to this podcast where we talk about crude palm oil at the Crossroads. Okay, this is a run up to our main event coming in on 3rd of April. But in this session, we will look at some of the important things that are happening in the crude palm oil market, okay, and also globally, and see what are the things that are moving this commodity and where it's going to go. Okay, so before we go dive into some of the details, I want to give you a background of where currently palm oil is. Right, as it is, why is it at the crossroad? It's a very, very interesting development in terms of crude palm oil. Because crude palm oil is one of the most important edible oils in the world. It's actually the dominant edible oil in the world. And basically, whatever happens is very, very important in terms of the edible oil world, right? So, in terms of what has happened over in 2024, is basically crude palm oil has crept up in terms of prices. During the mid of 2024, crude palm oil was trading around 3,005 to 3,600 ringgit per metric ton pricing. And then over the last couple of months and last 6 months, palm oil prices have actually gone up more than 44%, up to even a level of above 5,000. Okay? Currently, it's trading around the 4,500 ringgit per metric ton level. Okay, but what has basically elevated the price of palm oil has been a factor of supply as well. Because the two largest producers of palm oil, which is Indonesia being the number one producer and Malaysia being the second largest producer in the world, a lot of things have happened in these two the palm oil producing countries. Basically, in terms of overall production from these two countries, there have been supply issues in terms of basically slower plantation replanting. A lot of the trees in Indonesia have been aging, and so the production has kind of slowed. And in Malaysia, over the last couple of months, we had bad weather, we had floods, and this has been impacting the supply into the market. Okay, another very, very important factor in terms of Indonesia is their biodiesel mandate, the B40, which have come in force. And B40 is basically have 40% of palm oil in terms of the diesel composition. And this is a very, very big move coming from B35 to B40. And basically, in terms of B40, the experts and the market analysts conclude that it could take 1.7 million tons of palm oil in Indonesia in terms of the consumption for this biodiesel mandate. And Indonesia is also aggressively basically moving towards the next step, which is the B50. And if that comes in 2026, Indonesian, consumption of palm oil for the B50 mandate could go up to more than 5 million metric tons of it going into biodiesel. So this has been basically supporting the prices in terms of crude palm oil. And what is interesting in terms of crude palm oil pricing against the background of all the other types of edible oils, crude palm oil now is trading a premium, okay? It's the most expensive oil in terms of the global edible oil situation. And that is very, very interesting because the biggest buyers like India and China, right? Crude palm oil basically was one of the very important edible oils because it was one of the cheapest oils, and in the lower income sector in India, this is a very important oil. Okay, so it has come a situation that crude palm oil trades premium even above soya oil, and this is a very interesting phenomenon. And this basically you saw because of the supply side factors, right? That has basically elevated prices. So what is going to happen in the next half year? Okay, what are the factors that is going to move palm oil prices? Okay, is palm oil going to go down to normalize with soy oil so that the the premium that it currently carries? A lot of experts say that it's unsustainable, right? It cannot be the most expensive oil in the world in terms of edible oils, right? Because basically, in terms of export, crude palm oil is above 50% in terms of export globally, right? So this is the current situation. And where are palm oil prices going in this kind of situation, right? At the same time, I think one of the most important factors going into 2025, okay, will be in the next slide, you see who is that person that's going to be a big determinant of what CPO prices will be in the next 6 months, okay? So let me scroll down to the next slide. Okay. Okay, yes, and you can see from this picture, the most important person that will going to affect policies and what is going to happen globally is, of course, the president of the US, Donald Trump, right? And we have seen over the last 3 months since he went to office, there were a slew of policy and announcements that affected basically all the factors that you see on this page. Okay, number one, of course, the most prominent one is his trade policy and especially the trade wars. And this has been creating a lot of uncertainty and volatility in the market. Okay, but not only because of this particular tariffs. Okay, the tariff and trade policy will affect a lot of different factors as well. Okay, they will have a great impact on in terms of inflation, right? So if his policies are very inflationary, then we will see a spike in inflation, right? And his policies on the economy, what is it going to result in? Will it result in a situation that the U.S. economy is going to go into stagnation? And that will have a very rippling effect in the global economy as well. So what this man decides is going to decide the fate of a lot of things, especially commodities, going forward in the next 6 months. Okay. The other thing is also his political, geopolitical posturing, right? He is, of course, holding on to his view that in terms of Iran, in terms of Middle East, okay, that kind of escalation, if it happens, okay, is going to have deep impact on the commodity markets, especially also in the oil markets. And the oil markets has a very deep interrelationship with palm oil and edible oils because of the biodiesel factor, right? The other thing is, of course, US dollar and interest rates, okay? This will also impact in terms of the pricing of commodities throughout the world. So this is the man that you want to really watch in the next 6 months, what he is going to do and what are the policies that he's going to put forward, and they will have a lot of impact in terms of going forward, what will happen to commodity prices and also for palm oil. And this is something that we will go deep dive during the main event, the webinar on Thursday, April the 3rd. Okay, we will dive in and see what are the policies that are affecting all these factors you see right on the board right now, and how is it going to factor into the palm oil prices, right? Before we go into that, let's also look at a quick snapshot of what has happened over the last 3 months in terms of the markets. Okay, you can see since Trump has come to office, basically Trump, in his view, he's a pro-fossil fuel. He is, in his very famous words, drill baby drill, right? Basically, he wants energy dominance in the world, right? He wants U.S. energy dominance in this world, and he wants to bring more supply of oil and other U.S. Energy products into the market. And you could see a drastic effect once he came into office. Crude oil prices have come down. Crude oil Brent has also come down. Okay, heating oil, which is basically diesel, has come down as well. Okay, so this has a tremendous impact, and you can see it basically already reflected in the last 3 months snapshot of the energy markets. If we go down and have a look at the metals markets, okay, because of all the uncertainties, okay, in terms of the tariff environment, as also the posturing in Middle East. Okay, you can see that gold, precious metals have gone up as well. Okay, because people are basically putting money into safe haven asset, and one of the natural assets that they go in will be into gold, right? So you can see a huge difference in terms of what has moved in the precious metals as well. Copper, of course, continue to be quite high because this is because of the world going into building the EV infrastructure, electric vehicle infrastructure. Copper has been rising since 2025 as well. So these are what you are seeing basically in the metals market. And in the commodity markets, we have actually a very mixed picture, right? But generally, because of the uncertainties, you will see things like corn, okay, has come down since it actually gone up initially, but lately, since the middle of February, has come out. Okay, soybeans has also come down. You can see soybean oil as well. After the initial surge in 2025, it has also come down at this current moment. Okay, so the rest of the commodities as well, also we see a similar trend, right, in terms of cocoa and all that. Now, in terms of palm oil, let's have a look at the palm oil chart. Okay, so this is the important thing now. Where are the palm oil prices going to go from here, right? So is it going to go to be a bullish mode, or is it going to go into a bearish mode? And a lot, of course, of the factors we say will be what Trump does in the next couple of months. Okay, but if you look at a technical analyst point of view, there's a very interesting, basically a very interesting movement right at the right-hand corner. You can see right at the right-hand corner, put a bull and bear, and there's a key right over here. Now, this is something that we will dive in during the main session and talk about what this means in terms of the momentum of the market and what phase is the current market in, right? So obviously, since 2022, after the what they call that, the palm oil prices hit a high above 7,000, it had a steep correction downwards and was consolidating since the end of 2022 and until now. Of course, towards mid of last year, palm oil prices started to rise. Okay, and we spoke about the fundamental drivers of that. Now, the key question now is, at this present moment, what is happening? Okay, and we'll deep dive into this very specific formation. Okay, and this is something that we want to go in. That's why I put a key here. There is this particular formation right now that is going to basically point to potentially where the crude palm oil market is going to go. And we're going to cover that in depth in the main session, in the main webinar. Okay, so we will answer this question during that. So we have basically give you the background story of where palm oil is, okay, and give you the main drivers and who to watch for in terms of what's going to happen in the next couple of months. But we will dive into that in our session, okay, and this is happening on Thursday, April the 3rd, 8 p.m. Okay, let's come and join us to deep dive into all those things and then come and see whether you can catch the next big shift in CPO prices. Back to you, Junhan.
Okay, I think that was a such an insightful session by thank you, David. So for the insight on trading this FCPO market, so for those that are interested to know more, you can join David's full-length live webinar, Crude Palm Oil at Crossroads, which is the current title. Catch the next big shift in CPO prices on Thursday, 3rd April. So it will be from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Also, you can utilize this insight shared by David on our latest promotion, which is BMD Lucky Trade and Referral Bonanza, where you stand a chance to win a brand new iPhone 16 and cash prizes. The more you trade, the more you earn. The higher the chances of you getting the top prize. For more information, visit our website at phillip.com.my. Thank you all for tuning in, and thank you, David, for your time.
See you on the 3rd. Bye bye.
Thank you.